Hi, welcome to Spiritual Connection. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm an energy healer, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm a transformation coach. And if you've seen the show before, you know that connection is one of my core values. And that's really why I wanted to start the show, Spiritual Connection. You know, so we can really connect with each other, as well as connect more fully with our own spiritual selves. So I'm happy you're joining us tonight, and my guest tonight is Cindi Melkerson. Welcome to the show, Cindi.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. You know, I've known Cindi for a few months, I guess. Right?
Maybe even a little
maybe
longer.
Maybe almost
maybe
a
little
year.
longer, yes. Yes.
Not that long. But I'm happy that she's going to be joining us tonight. And I'm going to read a little bit about what you are up to, because the audience doesn't know you. Okay?
Sure.
All right. So Cindi, okay, wait a minute. That's my other guest. I can't read it. So this is interesting. Cindi is a woman on a mission to help other women and to create a life that they design, really. So I want to hear about how you do that. Okay, so hold that thought for later. And you do that through coaching on opportunities for better health, connection, as well as financial freedom. So that sounds like a great package. So basically, you're a lifestyle coach and an entrepreneur. Okay, and you're going to tell us about that, I bet. And she does fit her work into her lifestyle, as opposed to the other way around, which I love that. So your life comes first, and then your work fits around that. And she shared that she has a passion for traveling with her husband, John, and spending time with her grown children, and then also wellness, cooking, and reading. So you have a lot going on. And that one of your beliefs is that life is more exciting when you're learning and growing. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's what it's all about, right?
Right.
Learning and growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. Well, we're going to get into it, but you know, first I do like to ask my guests to first share a little bit about your spiritual journey and kind of how it evolved, or if there's anything along those lines you want to share with us.
Sure. I think when you first reached out to me, you had mentioned you hadn't been seeing me at the events that we had seen one another, and that's because I actually belong to a Bible study, and that kind of is something that that comes first. It's an enjoyment amongst some like-minded women that are just trying to grow their journey with the Lord, and it's a great community, and I just love being connected to them and learning to them, and it just happens to be on that morning.
So it conflicts with the monthly breakfast that we normally do. Oh, I
absolutely,
see.
Absolutely. So,
well, that explains
that.
Exactly.
Right. So for me personally, I believe there's a strong spiritual connection in my walk, in my faith. There's a practice every morning of just spending a little bit of meditation time. Sometimes if I'm on my own, it will be an outwardly talking, just as a way for gratitude, for praises, for asking for support, to be led, to surrender. So it's very important to me, and it's really what fills my cup. And I find when I'm connected in my faith and I'm on that journey, I'm not restless. I'm grounded. I'm connected to myself. I can be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
But when I don't live with that intention, I'm a little lost. I feel a little uneasy in my life.
Like something's missing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's sometimes, you know, I think in our lives, it's easy sometimes to kind of forget, or if you don't have that regular practice.
Right.
You know, I see that with some people.
And music is very, very big. Very, very big. As a matter of fact, before I came tonight, I listened to one, Spirit Lead Me. So I'm very inspired by Christian music.
Okay. Cool.
And it just, again, fills me. And it's that little bit that just helps keep me tethered, if you will, and connected. and reminded.
Yeah, because we don't always have the opportunity during the day to be in that space that's so calm, you know,
Right.
where we, it's not always easy. I mean, we have to intentionally do it. So,
It's a big word for me, intention, and my word for this year is allowing. Because times we ask for things, and we're constantly in the asking mode, but we need to set ourselves up to receive it and to allow it to take place, and to start noticing it starting to shift within us.
yeah, I like the way you described that. Yeah, allowing is a great word. I agree. I like that. So do you pick a word that resonates with you for a period of time? And
Just things that are just kind of where I am, because I find I'm not the same person. I'm evolving, always evolving,
Yeah.
and even from a month ago or 2 months ago. So maybe that word will change,
Okay,
but I'm in the
yeah,
season.
but currently.
Currently, that's where I am.
Yeah, well, that's great that you can, you know, it sounds like you have a lot of self-awareness.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes,
Have
I
you
do.
always been that way?
No. I believe that journey really began when I studied and I became a personal trainer. So I am very connected with my body. Like I can connect my mind to every which part. But also I was able to help. That was kind of a specialty of mine when I'd work with my clients, is to help them become better aware and reconnected with themselves. I always said that, you know, I would help you reacquaint yourself and just understand how your body is moving and what's creating that movement.
Wow.
So I think that's kind of where that journey began, and then just my body really in movement and what's making me. And then I think that just kind of kept that escalating for myself. And that's really where my mindset, that I just began that growth pattern.
Huh. So it started with the body, but
Yes.
but the mind, body, spirit
Yes.
connection.
Yeah,
Sounds like-
you can't separate the three.
No, and that's great that you were able to do that for your clients. I mean, what a gift.
Right.
You know, they probably weren't even expecting that.
No, not at all.
They just thought they'd get stronger or fitter or something like that, right?
Right. But no, it just, and I think it was a great awareness for them, because they that's something that we worked on, and they can intuitively take that through the rest of their, through their years.
Yeah. No, it's something that exactly once you learn it, you can't not
You don't unlearn
know
that.
it. Yeah.
You don't unlearn it.
Well, I think that's the case on any of the work that we do. It's, you know, once you know something, you can't not know it. Like, you can't go back.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
just,
And just taking a
about
few
growing.
moments, just even with breath work, and that really helps people, reconnect to their bodies.
Do you want to describe a little bit about that for people who may not?
Yeah,
about
typically when I would work with a client, we would usually start in a lie-down position, and I would have them place their hand on their stomach, and I would allow them to inhale and just try and breathe into that space. And then oftentimes I'd have them hold on to their rib cage, and I'd ask them to, breathe outwardly, so that they could just begin to start feeling the breath and the exhalation, and they could start getting connected with their body, and then be ready to work.
Yeah, but just I think that
It's just
that
a
awareness
reset, that
of
awareness, that reset.
yeah, and then they can do that whenever they need to.
Yes.
And it's such a calming tool
Right.
to use, to have that available.
Right.
Yeah, so that's great. So it started with the body. So one thing I was curious about is, how has your life changed over the last, I don't know, X number of years, maybe 5 years? Is that?
Life, we were living in Montreal for 10 years,
Oh.
and that's where I had my training business. Really loved working with my clients, but a job brought us to the East Coast. And we really didn't know anyone at all at that time. So we were also coming back as empty nesters. And it was a point in time where I was just kind of thinking about what that next thing was going to be. What was I going to do? So I had an opportunity to kind of transition, but still stay in the wellness field. So I'm with I market a brand of products. It's a lifestyle brand, and that is where I'm really hanging out because I love the lifestyle that I've created, and now I'm helping other women step into the truest version of themselves. And I really believe that you've got to love yourself. You've got self-care, self-love is first and foremost, because you really can't take care of anyone else if you don't love yourself. So how I help them is through nutrition. I also can help them through identifying some of where their limitations are in their life, what's holding them back.
I see. Yeah.
And I actually was, about 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to be part of a co-authored women's book. And it's called Dear Limits, Get Out of My Way.
Oh, that's great.
Right? So I am a published co-author. And my title of my chapter is I Forgot That I'm Good Enough.
Oh, wow.
So it's my story. And I'm actually heading to Toronto next week, and there is a celebration of this publishing company of all the women authors.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So that will be really exciting. So actually, just working with women through my business, coaching and just helping them kind of connect to their purpose.
Yeah, because you said at the beginning, or I read for you, about helping them create a life of their own design.
Right,
so
right.
That's how it plays out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because there's no need for us to feel stuck in our lives, no matter where we are. We can pivot, we can change direction of our life at any given moment.
Yeah, it's our choice.
It's your choice, but sometimes people need some encouragement. They have a vision, but they don't know how to get started. So with the work that I do and the brand that I market, we work together and we work in team. And I believe that love, you talked about connection and validation. And those are some human needs that we all humans, there's always that checkpoint that we need to have validation that we are good enough, that we are showing up in the world as our best selves and that we're making a difference. People need that recognition.
Right.
And many, many people in today's world aren't receiving that recognition through their work, through their lifestyles.
And that's true. But doesn't it start with ourselves, though, that we have to recognize first that, like, give ourselves that validation or that recognition?
You'd be surprised that the awareness is not there.
Okay, so it's...
There's just not awareness. Oftentimes, women that I speak to about joining me in my mission here, they don't even have an awareness that there's something that it's possible for them.
Okay. So first, they need a little bit first before they can get it for themselves?
Absolutely. They have to have an opportunity to start on their own personal discovery. And that's oftentimes achieved in the community setting that I hang in, also through personal development, through trainings, through podcasts, through inspiration to become your own self-advocate, through motivation.
Yeah.
So developing women to become leaders, to have, to commit, to have ambition, to learn how to develop that.
Yeah.
It's a practice.
Right.
It's an intention.
A process,
it's a process. It's a journey. So over these past 5 years for me, getting back to that, I've really come from a standpoint of of some of those things that I said, that I didn't think more was possible for me.
Oh, wow. So you're living proof of what
100%.
you want other people to be able to achieve as well
Absolutely.
for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did it late in life. I did it in my 50s.
Yeah.
So I love inspiring young moms that they can live a healthy life. They can create financial freedom for their families, or a little extra, to believe in themselves, to help them get unstuck from some. We all have a story, right? But our story doesn't need to define us.
Not at all.
So I help create some belief in themselves.
Yeah, and just to me, a lot of it is just to allowing them to see the possibilities
Right.
that they may not see.
Right. But that
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
takes
Just-
it
you have
takes
to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere, and the best place that you can start is with self-care. Is with nutrition, taking time to tend to your body, exercise, meditation, reading.
Yeah.
Readers are leaders. And reading things that maybe you can expand and grow your mindset. So we can get kind of caught up in a fixed mindset, thinking, well, this is it for me.
Right.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
But I like to develop women into a growth mindset, to go after it, to have grit, perseverance, to give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot, it's also, the self-care, the self-love. You talked about that a little while
Yes.
ago. And by the way, in a spiritual leadership training that I was doing the other day, one of the exercises we did, and it was recommended to do this every day, at least once a day in the morning, is to go in a private room in your bathroom perhaps, and look in the mirror and just gaze into your own eyes, and you see your higher self, and you just say your name and say, I love you. And just tell yourself that, I really, really love you 4 times. And so I've been sharing that, especially, today, our viewers don't know this, but it's Valentine's Day where we are today.
Right.
And to just share that, because I think it does start with self-love.
Absolutely. Louise Hay
Yeah.
has a book called Mirror Work. And it's a journey, I don't know how many days of it,
Okay.
but they're little things like that that you do. And it takes practice.
Yeah.
Because we'll look in a mirror, but we'll kind of glaze over, right?
Right. I don't prefer to look in the mirror if I can avoid it, but this is different. Because I feel like I'm not looking at me, like the outward me. I'm looking at my soul. I'm looking at the inner me.
Absolutely. And that's really what matters. It's
Yeah.
what's happening
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, it's
Because when this is good, this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
When this is good, this is good.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, it is what it is. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I think we're on the same page with this one.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I feel like I've really found these past years a place for myself to thrive. My work will never be finished.
Yeah.
It's just a place, I have a tagline, elevate your life. To be, do, and have more. But in order to be, do, and have more, you have to take care of yourself. You have to dream. You have to play with your visions. You got to work on yourself.
So do you do workshops for groups of women, or how do you communicate all of this?
Usually when someone joins me in my business.
Okay.
So in my
Okay.
business, it's team-oriented.
I see.
So last night I was on a call with some of my team, and we, I lead the way, and ask what's working for them, and so they kind of get that free of charge to them. You know, there's that lifestyle coaching, that inspiration. So it's really the community that I have connected to.
I see.
That is super important to me. Moving to Montreal, I lost my community back in my hometown. Moving to Connecticut, not knowing, being an empty nester. Community is so important to thrive, and you've got to find a community where you want to hang out in, of like-minded people. And I've landed. It's like, you know,
awesome.
The plane has landed, and it's my sisterhood. It's the people that are connected to me. If I call them, they're going to call me back, because they're on the same journey as I am. We're growing together.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well,
So growing those team of women to believe more in themselves, to understand that they can be, do, and have more, and they can live elevated lives and feel great about themselves. With unlimited, it's unlimited what they can do.
Yeah, once you start to let go of, like you were saying before, the stories that were holding us back.
Rewrite it.
Yeah, I think that the sky is the limit. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's all about those possibilities. And I mean, this sounds kind of, you know, vague, the way we're talking right now, but I don't get the sense that for you and the people you work with, it's not. I mean, it's very tangible. You see results. It's very action-oriented.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And in our work, we're always helping other people. Whether we're helping people get healthier through building confidence, getting healthier through nutrition, we're always transforming people's lives one person at a time.
Yeah.
Might sound corny, but it's the truth. I mean, I just got a text message that just said, you know, thank you so much for keep reaching out to me. I really need this right now.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're a natural coach. I mean, because that's my background in training is coaching. And
I think, moms who have children, we're all a form of a coach. I like to view myself as a leader. I've always been kind of the leader in the house because my husband traveled all the time, so I was always having to lead the household. And then when I became that personal trainer, I was that coach and that leader to help people get healthy. Now, I'm really the leader of my life, and I'm teaching other women how to step into leadership.
yeah, well, you lead by example. That's pretty clear.
Right, Brendan. I follow a lot of people, and you know, one of the top things with Brendan Bouchard, who's a high performance achiever, and he says if congruence, if you're claiming to be someone and you're authentically not living to be that person, your life is misaligned.
Yeah.
So we really have to show up as that person and be authentic. And these past 5 years, I have learned to just be that person. Not to say I don't have fears. There are always fears in growth. It just has to be. But there's a belief that I have in myself. That I have a vision of what I want to do for our family. I have a vision of the legacy that I want to lead. And that didn't just land in my lap. Nothing worthwhile lands in our lap. No. John Maxwell says, success is a climb. It's always, whatever you're working on in your life, it's always a climb.
Yeah. How has this affected, like, your whole family? You know, you talk about your community, but you said you have grown children now. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
To believe it or not, the work that I do in with my brand has actually even strengthened my marriage. We're growing together.
Yeah.
He's supporting me, maybe teaching me some things about relationship building and sales and managing expectations. My husband's belief in me, knowing that I will achieve my goals, That's validation.
Yeah.
That rocks.
Yeah.
I've been with my husband since I was 16. We got married at 23, so we've been married for 33 years. And we'll be celebrating our 34th year.
That's awesome.
My 3 children, just watching me reinvent myself at 50.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I would, yeah, I think that's great because it shows them, again, what's possible, because you're modeling, you're showing by example.
Yes,
And
they're cheering me on. That's
yeah,
another.
you see how happy you are.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
how fulfilled. You sound very fulfilled.
Yes, and I've taught them about nutrition. I've taught them about how to go after things and how to just show up as your best person and to stay true to yourself.
Yeah. Do they listen?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good journey.
Yeah. Adult children are great. I mean, it's kind of an oxymoron, but having, I have one child who's 27, and once they get past that teenage years,
Right.
it's just like so much better, I think.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that was kind of fun, parts of it, but some parts not so fun.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that I just really took a chance on a question someone asked me.
Really?
They just asked me to take a look at an opportunity.
Uh-huh.
I trusted in her, and that person, that one person who asked me, that 5 seconds of courage that she had to ask me, completely
Changed your life?
changed my life. So it inspires me to get out there and ask women
Do the same thing
to
for
do
other
the
people.
same thing, right? Because we don't know what's going on in people's lives, because you know what, we don't show it on the outside.
No, that's true. And I find that, it's so easy to make up a story about why someone wouldn't want to do what you're going to talk about or what you're up to. They don't want to hear what you're up to. They just want to, do their own thing, whatever.
Right. That happens sometimes if I'll ask someone for a referral, and they're like, I don't think she'd do that, or I don't know, she's probably too big. Like, their people are making up other people's minds, for sure. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. We come up with these things. And I think it is about the fear of putting ourselves out there.
Well, sure. Do you know how many rejections I've had? Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know how many phone calls haven't been returned, or how many emails haven't been returned, or oh, for sure.
So what is your secret to not having that stop you?
It's not about me.
Yeah.
Put the ego out of the way.
Yeah.
It's not about me. They can't see it for themselves.
Yeah.
They have something going on.
Right.
Timing is off.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's just where they are, and
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it can't change.
Yeah. Well, I love that, and we're gonna wrap up on that
Perfect.
note. It's not
Perfect.
about me.
It's not about
and
me.
It's not about any of us.
No.
It's about all of us.
Serving and helping
Serving,
others.
helping. Well, thank you, Cindi, for being here tonight.
Yes,
and
great.
thank you to all the guests who have joined us, and we'll look for you the next Spiritual Connection. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. Blessings and good night. Thank you.